Good evening. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2024 Candidate Forum. My name is Bob Burford, and I'm president of the Sweet Home Community Foundation. This event is being sponsored by the Community Foundation and the New Era, and I have the honor of acting as moderator for tonight's forum. The Community Foundation's primary role is to help provide funding and other assistance to local groups and organizations with projects that make Sweet Home such a great place to live. Our motto is give where you live. If you'd like to learn more about us, please see us afterwards at the table in the lobby. But our primary goal tonight is to provide you, the voter, with the information you need to best make a voting decision. We are blessed that there are so many candidates willing to help their community by serving on the City Council. As you're probably aware, there are 4 open positions to fill. Tonight we will hear from 10 of the 12 candidates who will be running. The 12th candidate, Jennifer Victor, is traveling and is not participating, and the other candidate, Aaron Barstead, had a scheduling conflict and I don't believe will be with us tonight either. With 10 candidates participating, time is a big challenge. So we are all testing William Shakespeare's pronouncement that brevity is the soul of wit. Please keep this in mind as I explain how we will proceed tonight. Prior to the event, a random drawing was made from the list of participants. The drawing established who would introduce themselves first, as well as the overall order in which the candidates will be asked subsequent questions. The candidates are seated in the order in which their names were drawn. The first name drawn will be asked to briefly introduce themselves and provide a bit of personal background, including why they wish to serve on the City Council. The time limit for each statement is 1 minute. The person seated to the immediate left of that candidate will then be given the same opportunity until everyone has been introduced. I will then ask the first randomly ordered question, starting with the second name drawn. These questions were primarily submitted by you, the voter, through the New Era. 30 seconds will be allowed for each initial answer. At the conclusion of the initial answer, each remaining candidate, starting to the immediate left of the original speaker, will be provided an opportunity to provide an opposing viewpoint or to clarify their own viewpoint if it's different from the original answer. Each additional statement will also be given a maximum of 30 seconds. The remainder of the questions and responses will be handled in the same way and with the same time restrictions. After the full series of questions and responses have been given, each candidate will be given 1 minute to give a closing statement as to why they should be elected to serve on the Sweet Home City Council. Throughout the forum, there will be a timekeeper within view of the candidates. The speaking candidate will be given a visual cue, as they near the end of the time and when their time has expired. We have asked all the candidates to adhere to these time limits. At the conclusion of the event, the candidates are encouraged to go out into the audience and make themselves available to meet with you on a one-to-one basis. From you, the audience, we ask the following. Please silence your cell phones. Be respectful of opinions presented tonight, even if they differ from your own. And as I said, we are on a very tight timeline with so many candidates to hear from. It's okay to show your approval for an answer, but please keep it brief. So, without further ado, let's get started. First up, in introducing themselves to you is Brandy Weissong Frick. You might check the switch on it.
Can you hear me? Okay. Hi, my name is Brandy Weissong Frick. I have lived in Sweet Home for 40 years. I went all through the schools here and then to LBCC and OSU. I am married to Travis Frick and we have one adult son, Brian. In my 20s and 30s, I was a stay-at-home mom with our son and my nephews, spending my time volunteering with Cub and Boy Scouts, the Hawthorne PTC, and being a part-time tax accountant. I am now a senior accountant with experience in tax, compliance, retail, and health plans. In my personal life, I like to garden, hike with my dogs, tend to my goats and chickens. I am running for city council because my life is in Sweet Home, and I want our town to continue to be a good place for future generations to live.
Thank you.
Was I waiting for you, Bob?
Go ahead, Angelica.
Hi, everybody. I'm just so excited to see all of you here. When I first ran 4 years ago, we were during the pandemic and we didn't have anything like this, so I'm incredibly thankful for this being put on. My name is Angelita Sanchez. Currently, I'm your city councilor. I'm the only incumbent up here running with 11 other people. I'm just so excited that we have all these people wanting to stand up for our community. We have an opportunity in Sweet Home to go a new direction, and I hope that we choose wisely, listen to what everybody has to say, and make the decision best for our community. I'm a fourth generation resident of Sweet Home. I own a small business. I've done a lot of things for this community already, and I'm willing to commit as much time as I can to continue serving the community of Sweet Home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Regina Hayes, and I'm a member of Holly Church, and I work at the United States Post Office as a NITI clerk. I own my own business as Regina's Notary, state certified. I'm married to Raymond Hayes, who likes to keep to himself. He does not want anybody bothering him. We have 6 kids together, and 4 of them went to Sweet Home High School, and they are all out on their own now. We have the house to ourselves. I am running for city council because, well, I live here in Sweet Home, and I want to be a part of making Sweet Home better. When I say better, I mean the way city council handled the stop signs and other issues, I don't think it was handled well. I felt that we were blindsided, and most of the people that I talked to felt the same way. And I just think that we can come up...
That's time. Elaine?
Hello, my name is Elaine Evans. I was born and raised in this town, and after I left to go to college at Northwest Christian College in Eugene, where I studied speech communications and music, I came back to this town when my father passed, and I inherited his house. I lived there with my husband, Peter, who is retired, and I'm retired. The reason I'm running for city council is I want to have a voice. I want to be able to say that I've done something with my life, a positive thing, and putting a positive stamp on this town is something that I feel like is needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Don?
Hi, I'm Dawn Miller.
I'm not sure your mic's on, Don.
Let's do it again. I'm Dawn Miller. I'm a resident of Sweet Home for 19 plus years. We came to this community kind of backwards. People that know me know the story. I love this community. It embraced us when we landed here. I'm retired, a wife, mother, and grandmother of 7 grandchildren. I'm running for city council because as it stands right now, our council is broken. It needs to be corrected. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you. Chelsea?
Good evening. I'm Chelsea Augsburger. I'd like to thank the Sweet Home Community Foundation and the New Era for coordinating this event tonight. I'd like to thank all of you for attending and anyone that's watching online. I would be honored to earn your vote. I am a lifelong resident of Sweet Home. I remember what Sweet Home was, I see what it is today, and I would be honored to help shape the future of our town. I was a local teacher here. I also worked at the Lynn County Assessment Office, also the City Planning Department. I am well versed in the challenges facing our town, and I'm well equipped to help us navigate those challenges. If elected to council, I would work to be fiscally responsible with your tax dollars. I would work to increase notifications to the residents of town. I would work to, it's hard to tell, I would work to make sure to advocate for all citizens. I would listen to you, and I would be accountable to citizens in Sweet Home. Thank you.
Thank you, Chelsea. Ken?
We live? Okay. Hi, I'm Ken Bronson. We've only got a minute here. It's going to be fast here. My wife, Fran, and I, we live here in Foster. Our blended family includes 6 children and 5 grandchildren. I've been in Sweet Home for 14 years. I grew up on a 320-acre farm out west of Junction City with 12 siblings. I worked my way through college working in the woods and mills in Lane County. I graduated from Southern Oregon University with a bachelor's degree in business. I spent 29 years managing wood products companies, and the last 12 years running public transportation here in Sweet Home through the Senior Center for the Sweet Home Transportation and the Lynn County Transportation Systems. I currently serve on the board of directors of the Senior Center. I have extensive financial and managerial experiences in 7-figure operations. I'm a coach. I coach soccer, t-ball, volleyball, basketball, you name it. With 3 kids, we coached it. So, Boy Scout leader, 5 years on the Pleasant Hill School Board, 5 years on the Pleasant Hill Forestry Advisory Team.
And that is time.
And we are done.
Boy, I feel the power. Aaron.
Hello, my name is Aaron Hagee. I want to thank you guys for putting this on. Thanks everybody for showing up. It shows that you care about our community. A little bit of background. I'm a lifelong resident of Sweet Home. I live here with my wife and 3 kids. I graduated Sweet Home High School in 2002, and I was able to play basketball in college for 4 years, where I was working on and got my bachelor's degree in business management. From there, I spent 13 years in retail management, and more currently, I now own an insurance agency here in town. So I've been a Rotarian for 3 years here for the Sweet Home Rotarian Club. More recently, I was the president, and during that time, I saw what our community is about and what we can do. Built great relationships with the community and the leaders. As a counselor, I want to be the voice of the community, and I believe our decision and actions as community members should reflect our community.
Good job. Way to use the clock. Matthew?
So these mics are just hot, huh? Okay, thank you all for coming out. My name is Matthew Bechtel. I want to thank the candidates for showing up too. It really shows that people have an interest in our greater community here. Well, I want to start with my history of my leadership training comes from my military experience. I joined the National Guard. I originally joined the Guard to stay local within the community, put out forest fires, help with the flooding that was going on in the late 90s, and they ended up sending me to Iraq. So that wasn't so bad. I learned a lot of acronyms while I was in the Army. The biggest acronym that really stuck to me was the one of leadership. And I try to exemplify the traits of this leadership. And what I've got loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. And these are the traits that I try to exemplify myself with every day. My wife and I moved to Sweet Home about 4 years ago. We bought our first house, and since then we have both dove heavily into the community and been very active in our roles. Thank you.
Thank you. And David.
Hi, my name is David Lohman. I'd like to thank everybody in the community for coming out to hear what we have to say. I'm running for city council because I feel like I have some experience in the city. I was 3 years appointed on the budget committee, 1 year on the city charter review committee, and 1 year as a planning commissioner. I love giving back to my community to save tax dollars for our city as well as for our community people. I'd like to earn your vote by showing you what I can do. I appreciate living here, working here in the city of Sweet Home. I also work for the post office, so I see a lot of people all the time delivering the mail. But I do see some changes that need to be done in this city, and I would like to be your voice on the council. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. So, as again, with the way that the order was drawn, Angelita will get the first question, and then we're just going to go right down the line from that. So, describe your own community involvement during the last 12 months. This may include attending city council or other city meetings, community volunteering, etc.
Well, like I said, I'm already serving as a city councilor for this community. I attend budget committee meetings, I attend Harvest Festival, I attend city council, I attend work session, and then I attend all types of political activities throughout the state advocating for our way of life as well.
That was quick. Regina?
Well, I have gone to several council meetings to see what's been going on, and then I also volunteer through my church, and then I just volunteer through CHIM whenever I get a chance to give throughout the time.
Thank you. Elaine?
I just drew a blank there for a second. I
Would you like me to repeat the
volunteer. Thank you. I volunteer with One Sweet Home leadership team that promotes unity between the churches in in Sweet Home. And I also am running out of time.
We didn't say this was going to be easy. Don?
Okay, so I have been attending the council.
You might want to hold the mic up just a little closer to you, though.
I've been attending the council meetings, the work sessions, executive sessions outside of them, committee meetings, budget committee, things of that nature. My interest started with council when the city manager resigned. So that's where I'm going to start from. And I'm done.
Chelsea?
I've attended some of the recent city council meetings. I do very much appreciate that most of them are recorded on YouTube, so if I have a conflict, I'm able to stay up to date with what is going on. And I'm also involved in our local school district.
Bicycle education, 5th grade class. Council, I think I've been to 4 of them the last few months. Dolly Parton reading program through our Rotary. Easter egg hunt, Rotary. Transit Advisory Board Chair for Transportation representing Sweet Home. Lynn County Parks Board Chair representing Sweet Home. Thank you.
A lot of my stuff is kind of same thing with the Rotary. We do quite a bit for the community, Easter egg hunt, raise funds for scholarships, and the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. I'm also I've been a coach for Boys and Girls Club sports, basketball, baseball, flag football. It's just a blast seeing the kids find something that they love to do and work at it and get better.
Matthew?
All right, since I don't work, I have spent a lot of time volunteering around town. Currently, I'm the chair of the Budget Committee. I'm a member of the Park and Tree Committee. I'm the director of the Hope Church Food Pantry. I've co-sponsored the Sweet Home Earth Day cleanup with Santiam Sound, and this next year will be our 3rd year in operation. I'm a member of the Elks Lodge. I volunteered for the Beautification Committee, and we planted the flowers in the median. I'm a volunteer for Mrs. Claus Elf's Toy Workshop. I was the elf at the Harvest Festival. Thank you very much.
Very good. David?
Last year, I volunteered to work the Harvest Fest. I worked the entire day at 6 o'clock in the morning, helping all the vendors find their spots. I also, around the community, on my days off, I help seniors. I take them to the doctor's appointments, shopping when I can. So I believe in giving a helping hand where it's needed.
In the last year, well, the last many years, I provide free, well, it's not free, I'm not licensed anymore, but Fair Share Gleaners, which is an organization that does food distribution here in town. I do all their tax work for them, and I also pay all their fees and stuff, just as it's an easy way for me to help an organization that does a lot of good. I do all their filings and stuff.
All right, thank you all. All right, so the second question will go to Regina to answer first. The city recently purchased a retail business building. Originally, the building was planned as an artisan incubator. Do you agree or disagree with the practice of government buying retail locations, and why, if you have time?
Yes, I do. Just because I think they can use it for the good of their town, basically. And one good I would use for it is they could put like a skating rink, arcade, something for their children, which is what we need here. We need to bring revenue to our town. It's what we're missing. And we could also bring outsiders in here. That's what I would do with it, and any others that we could get.
All right. Elaine?
Yes, I think that it would be good to have the businesses bought by the city, because then you can go ahead and do these things like have artisans come in and sell different things and boost our tourism by maybe becoming a community that is thought of as an artisan type community.
Thank you. Don?
I agree with the purchase of the old Santiam feed store, I believe is what we're talking about. I have a different opinion about its utilization. I think it would be a great place for our community market to run year-round indoors. I've had several community members ask me, why couldn't it be used that way? I'm of the mindset it should be.
All right, thank you. Chelsea?
My opinion differs from some of the other folks. I do not believe that the purpose of the city is to purchase buildings. I believe that the purpose of the city should be to provide the infrastructure so that individual businesses can purchase the buildings and that they can use that as their business to thrive. So I believe that we should provide the utilities and the streets and the parking so that we can promote local businesses to be successful in Sweet Home.
Ken?
I agree with her. I do not think that we should be in the business of buying buildings and competing against existing businesses that are just getting started. This building in particular was spoke of as starting with a coffee shop. A coffee shop just opened up half a block away. It is certainly not fair to that new business to have to compete with something that's supported by the city. Thank you.
I kind of have the same opinion. I don't know if the city should be in the landlord business, although the idea of using that space, having a space for the artisans, I totally agree with that. But again, we're kind of getting into the private sector, businesses, what other businesses could use that space. And, if we own the buildings, then we're governing that, and that might not be the best idea.
Thank you. Matthew?
I mostly agree with the last three candidates. I think the city has to be very careful not to interfere with the private sector's business. It's not the purpose of the city to interfere with the private enterprise. So if that space could be rented to somebody else, that would be a better option, I think. But since the city now has it, I think the community market should go in there, as Don was saying. They need a place.
David?
I really don't like a city buying up property for our tax dollars. I really think that they should find some of the businesses, especially downtown, lease those buildings that are not being used, or getting with those landlords and say, rent those buildings out for $100 a month. You're not making anything now, so $100 is better than not getting anything, and it'll bring in business for Sweet Home.
Thank you. Brandy?
I do not believe that the city should be buying buildings really for any purpose. The city's responsibility is to provide infrastructure and safety and those sort of things. We really need to have a separation of public and private entities.
And Angelica?
So I thought there was no controversial questions tonight. So I was in support of that with a long, thoughtful process. We have struggled tremendously with trying to fill empty buildings downtown, landlords that don't take care of their properties, and this building was sitting on the market. I believe we wanted to buy some other buildings, but they were out of our price range. So to utilize this for the community, we can get grants, we can restore the historical aspect of it, so that is why I voted yes.
All right. So, Elaine, I think you're up for this question. Each year, the City Council sets goals for the upcoming year. What would be your number one achievable goal for the city and why?
My goal would be for the City Council to be able to get along a little bit better. And I think that's achievable because I can do good with interpersonal communication. It's what I have a background in. And I think that we just need new blood that's going to be able to get along with other people and work together to make this city what it can be, which is something great.
Okay. Don?
Can you repeat that for me?
Sure. Each year, the City Council sets goals for the upcoming year. What would be your number one achievable goal for the city and why?
For our City Council to act as they should be, for them to open communication, transparency to the people, and include the people. No more of this decisions being done and then they tell the people. That's what I want to see them do.
Thank you. Chelsea?
My response is similar to Dawn's. I would like to see increased notification to the citizens prior to decisions being made. I know agendas are posted online, but I feel like we could do a better job at notifying folks of topics prior to making decisions. I feel like the duty of the council is to listen to the voters and be accountable for council actions. So increased notifications would be my main goal.
City Council, work as a team. Get things done. Bring some common sense in. Thank you.
Aaron?
A goal would be to work with the current and new city council members on transparency on where we want to go as a city, and then help, listen and take advice and input from the community as to where we should be going.
Thank you. David?
As far as goals go, I've actually outlined 4 of them. These would be my core goals, another Army acronym there. So I've got, for core, I've got cooperation within the council. I've got open communication back with the people, which will earn the respect from the people towards the council. And that will lead to the enthusiasm for the future of Sweet Home, because we live in a beautiful place, and we got to be excited about its future. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, David.
I'd like to see better communication on issues that are brought up through council that the people of Sweet Home would actually get to see. And another issue is, I think our mayor should be elected by the people instead of appointed or elected by the council itself.
My number 1 goal would be for the council to finish all the projects that are already started without starting anything new, like the wastewater treatment plant. I know that they aren't the ones physically doing it, but we need to get those sort of things complete before we start going down other paths.
So one of my goals has also been to get the mayor elected by the people instead of appointed by the council. I feel that there is a lack of accountability to the people because they are appointed by their fellow council members, and I think that the mayor being elected by the people can ensure that the people's voice is put on the agenda with the city manager so we can get some things done that the people of this community would like.
Well, I agree with you. I do believe that we should have our mayor elected through the people and not through the council. And I also agree that we need to communicate with our city and our people more with our councilors.
All right. And I believe, let's see, who gets the next one? Elaine? Is that right? Don. I knew I was going to get this screwed up, so it's in my job description. And I do want to point out to the audience that these candidates did not have these questions ahead of time, so they're getting hit with them cold, so keep that in mind. Okay, the next question is, what are the top 2 services that the city of Sweet Home should be providing the citizens in exchange for their tax dollar?
Now that's a toughie. When you say city services, are you speaking of like the water? Or
It could be water, it could be roads, it could be public safety.
Our roads need help. Our infrastructure definitely needs help. So I would say we need to tighten up our infrastructure, communication to the people, bring the people to the front, and let's hear what they have to say.
All right. Thank you. Chelsea?
We need to ensure that we have adequate infrastructure, mainly water, to support all of the new growth in our town, make sure that we're able to sustain that so that everyone has the level of service that they deserve from paying their taxes. I also believe that emergency services, police and fire, we need to make sure that we have those so that we can make sure that everyone has safety here in town.
Ken?
Water is life, most important part. Clean water in, treated water out. Those 2 things, most important. Thank you.
One would be clean water, making sure it's safe, and the other would be infrastructure, most importantly, safe roads. We have a lot of children that walk to school, bike to school, and just their safety should be at the forefront.
The top two things I think are the emergency services and the infrastructure, to include access to clean water. It'd be really great if we could get these stop sign issues ironed out and get First Street fixed up the way it needs to be. Thank you.
I think we need clean drinking water for everyone, as well as I think safety should be a priority in this town with our police services. And I think we should put more toward the police services so people in the community feel safe.
Water and wastewater, those are the big functions of the city that they provide pretty well most of the time. And then, police emergency services, that's something that's vital to all of us. Those are really the focuses that I think a city should be looking at.
So I'm a contractor. I think I'm probably the only one up here, a road builder, a dump truck driver. I think roads are critically important, and under those roads are the water distribution system that we have. So replacement of pipes so we can have the clean water getting cleanly to the residences, and then cost controls on streets and stuff like that. I know that if we could do some more stuff in-house, we can get 3 times the amount of work done. So that's what I would like to have happen.
Mine would be water. We do need clean water. And then we also need to get our bridge fixed. We do have a big gaping hole in it, and since we do pay the taxes for it, that's where it should have been fixed anyway.
I would also say water, and I'd also mention that emergency services would be high on my list because I know firsthand you do not know when you're going to need them, and when you do, you're so thankful for them.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And I think this question goes first to Chelsea. Would you support amending the city charter to allow residents to directly elect the mayor rather than have the position filled by appointment of the council? And if so, why?
Thank you for the question. Yes, I absolutely support putting the mayor on the ballot. I believe that the citizens of Sweet Home and the voters should be able to select who they want as their mayor. I believe that having council appoint it just doesn't have that same accountability as being elected by the people and the voters of Sweet Home.
I support the mayor being selected by the people. 10,000 people is a little better than 7. Thank you.
I, too, support having the mayor voted by the people for the same reasons. 10,000 people versus 7 councilors. That those councilor positions change every 2 to 4 years. So the people who live here should have that input.
I agree with just about everybody who was up here that said the people should vote for the mayor. 10,000 to 7 is common sense.
I also agree that the people should vote in for the mayor because the way we are right now, the mayor is just a council person.
I had never even thought about this until my husband brought it up, and then I did some research, and almost every other town in Lynn County, the mayors are elected by the people. I was surprised that Sweet Home's so different, but it does seem like it would be a better idea to have the mayor voted in by the people, not the council.
So as stated, we as a council can change the charter, or we as the people can put it to the ballot by initiative petition as a home rule charter. So if we do not get a committee that reviews the charter that allows it to go to the ballot, the people can also sign a petition. And I have one prepared if we do not get what we'd like. Thank you.
Yes, I do agree that she should be on the ballot, the mayor should be on the ballot, and the people should be able to have their voice back.
I just want to say that I think we have a fabulous mayor, but I do agree that it needs to be brought to a ballot of all the people.
I started my journey on why we don't vote our Marion, and took my journey down the city charter and stuff. Even asked counselors about why the charter committee had failed to convene for this very specific thing. So I say mayor needs to be voted in.
All right. Thank you. Ken, I believe you get the next question. Small businesses are an important part of our community and the local economy. What sort of city support would you advocate to support these businesses?
Good question there. I think help with, if they got a good business plan, help with the land use, getting through those hurdles, help with them getting business loans if needed, just helping get the base under them, but most importantly, steering them through the bureaucracy of city, county, state, and federal rules.
Thank you. Aaron?
I think programs like the SEEP grant is a great idea. I know that small businesses sometimes can't put a lot of money into the building they're buying or renting, but utilizing that money, that grant money, that might be something that can make it affordable for small businesses to come into town.
Thank you. Matthew?
There's a lot of grants already offered from the city, and that's great. We need more business. So I think I agree with what Ken was saying. If we could come up with a plan to help steer the new businesses through all the bureaucracy, that would really help a lot of people, because they get lost in the paperwork of trying to access these grants, and so they just can't get to the money. Thank you.
I think the city should promote new business, especially when a new business comes into town. Give them some incentive to come here and open up shop, like not pay any taxes for the year for property taxes, an incentive for people to come here. We've got a ghost town downtown with a lot of shops that are empty, and being a way of giving people a chance to come into our city without paying some taxes would probably help.
I see that the city has put in a lot of effort into maybe bringing tourism and more people into town. And I almost think that they need to use those skills that they have to help the new businesses, help promote the new businesses, get the word out there through all the different avenues that I've seen them use to help with tourism and things like that.
So this is another interesting question. We want the city to help small businesses. So that's why I voted yes on buying that Santiam feed building, so we could help small businesses. We have a lack of available space, a lack of an opportunity to rent spaces. So if we renovated that building and sectioned it off into spaces that could be utilized as a small business incubator, that would be a great way to help bring small business into this community.
Well, I think the city council should actually hire an additional person that could actually help these small businesses wiggle through all the paperwork, and that would be their job, because there's so much paperwork that needs to go through, and a lot of people can't find that, and even the grants and the promotions that they need to go through to get the business loans and things like that they need.
I would have to agree with everybody up here. We need to have the city help small businesses by even simple things like the paperwork and helping them in that way. Thank you.
I agree with everybody on the council here. We need to support our small businesses, and we need to help them in any way we can to help them flourish in this town.
All right.
I thought for a moment maybe I'd already answered this question. I had to check. I agree with grants, definitely, to support our small businesses. From the city side, though, I think providing ample parking and providing really a welcoming space downtown, I think our beautification committee does a wonderful job with the flowers. But I think anything that we can do on the city side with the infrastructure to make it so that people can access those small businesses would help promote them in our town.
Thank you. Okay. See, Aaron, this is going to be for you. In recent years, the city, like many others, faces challenges related to homelessness. In general terms, what should the city's policy be in regard to this issue?
I think we need to keep going down the road we have with the FAC facility. I think we've made huge strides in helping our homeless citizens find a place that they can, call home, be warm, be safe. We need to ensure that that program continues and see what we can do to further that and make it easier for people to get through there and help them get out of that situation.
Matthew?
Like Aaron was saying, I think I like the FAC. We need to promote that organization. The police already provide a sleeping area next to them so people can camp there for the night if they have to. And we live in a very compassionate community. There are a lot of churches that are willing to give. There's food. There's a lot of resources that are available for the homeless people. I don't think the city should be paying. The taxpayers should not be paying for any more than they already are. Thank you.
I think we've come a long way with the homeless people in the last year or so, and I'm glad to see that the city is helping these people that need the help. I really believe that we still need some more work at it, and we don't want to be a Portland or Salem, the way that all the people are sleeping everywhere. Our city has got behind doing this, and I'm glad to see that.
This one's a really tough one. There really isn't any great or clear solutions. I think if the homeless are doing something illegal, then the police need to take care of that. Otherwise, people need to be able to rest and kind of exist without bothering people.
So this is something that's regulated by the state legislature, and so it's something that we had to take care of as a city. It has changed from night today with the FAC building facility for our homeless. And I just want to say, because of what Sweet Home done with the emergency order, we were able to bring in $2.9 million to our county to help fund these unfunded mandates, to help clean up our streets. And we've had a great success rate with FAC by placing people in houses. So we've done a really good job.
Yeah, I actually agree with everybody on the FAC. I am so thankful that they are there, and I do believe that we just need to improve on those just a little bit, maybe even strengthen the rules that they have for the homeless people that is there, and maybe even make a few more for them, because there's not enough. We still have people out on the street.
The FAC building is really a great thing, and it's something that I'm really proud to have in this town. I think it would be great if it was expanded a little to make sure that all the residents that are homeless would have a place.
I think the FAC is a good temporary solution for the homeless problem here in Sweet Home. I don't think it is the end-all or be-all for the homelessness. Yeah, so hats off to them, but I think we need to find a better solution long-term.
I think Sweet Home has done a great job providing an area that is safe and welcoming for the homeless population in Sweet Home. I do not believe that the entire funding of that should come off of taxpayers. I think we should continue to utilize county resources. I know that there's a lot of mental health support out there, and I know that there's a lot of grants available. And so I think we should work for that so that we can support them, but not use lots of taxpayer dollars on things that don't benefit the entire community.
I must say that I serve on the FAC advisory board. One of the first things we did when we started there, I said, we must take back our city. We have done that. We have a system that's working. Crime is down 85% in that population. Medical calls are down 85% in that population. And 90% of the money comes from outside of the city. So it's working. Let's keep trying to make it better. Thank you.
Thank you. So Matthew, I think this is going to be yours first. Over the last 10 years, the tenure of city managers has been short. In general, do you believe that nationwide recruitment searches are the best way to find and retain qualified candidates? Or should the city attempt to recruit potential candidates from within a more local geographic area, and why?
I think the city deserves the best that they have out there. And if that requires going nationwide, then that's what we need to do. But we deserve the best here. If we can get them locally, let's do that.
I do like the recruitment center service because so many people will come and tell us all the different experiences that they've had. And we need that in this city because our city managers are not staying very long.
We need to recruit from within Oregon or the Pacific Northwest at the farthest. We need to get people that are from this area, that are tied to this area, that have the best intentions and have the same goals as the people of our town. I am positive that there are qualified individuals inside this town that could be a city manager. It is absolutely possible.
Bob, can you repeat the question, please?
I can. Over the last 10 years, the tenure of city managers has been short. in general, do you believe that nationwide recruitment searches are the best way to find and retain qualified candidates? Or should the city attempt to recruit potential candidates from within a more local geographic area?
So over the last 10 years, I don't think it's necessarily always a city manager issue. I think it's a council issue. So if we can get some counselors that can work well with the city manager, I think we might have a greater opportunity. I am for local recruitment and national recruitment because we do deserve excellence, but what I'm most important to me is that the new council decides who they get to work with for our community.
I feel that we need to recruit locally so that we have someone who knows our city and our town and basically what we really need and want, not somebody from the outside.
I would say that we need to recruit for locally Pacific Northwest and Oregon. We have a lot of other input already from outsiders, as some of us call them. So I think that we should tighten our recruiting for city manager.
I too believe we should look locally. We have a lot of talent in this town that knows this town, has a stake in this town, and believes this town can be everything it was and needs to be again. I mean, we've lost ourselves here. Taking off from people that come here to represent us as a city manager, and they don't know us, they don't know the community, and they're not able to do what somebody inside
All right, thank you.
could do.
Chelsea?
I believe that we should recruit locally when possible. I believe that if you know the demographics and you know our town and you know what our goals are, you can definitely help move us to a brighter future in Sweet Home. I do believe that, as Angelita said, having the new council be able to have a say in hiring that city manager, going through the interview process, and finding someone that's really committed to helping Sweet Home be the best it can be.
I support stop. We got a city manager in place right now. Let's do a hybrid that's working. It's working very well with the police department and the city manager position. He's game. I say we don't do anything for a year. Let this heal, and we give our police chief, city manager in place for a year. Thank you.
I agree with most everybody. I think we should recruit locally if possible. Somebody that's invested in the city, in this area, that knows what's going on within our community. Given our track record, I think finding somebody within Sweet Home is our best bet for longevity in that position.
All right, thank you. Okay, David, this is going to be your question. City Council Rules number 19 is entitled Ethics, and it states, and I'm going to quote, "All members of the council shall refrain from expressing an opinion contrary to the official opinion of the council without so saying." What do you interpret this rule to mean?
I take it as if it's like the good old boys. You know, you get a couple people together and it's like they have their own agenda. All the council should work for the people and hear their concerns and take it that they work for the people, and the people are the most important people in the city.
I understand this to mean that if the council has made a decision as a unit, that if you are, say, in public or speaking to a citizen, if your personal opinion differs with the decision of the council, you would state that this is my personal opinion, separate from the council vote, or something like that that differentiates the two.
So these council rules have sometimes been weaponized, and I find them really hard to accept. To me, it sounds like it's a violation of our First Amendment rights and the freedom of speech. If you look at the Albany Democrat-Herald today, they have City of Corvallis struggling with council rules and violation of constitutional rights. So I think we have to be really careful with trying to limit what people say.
To me, I think it just means that, let's see, how do I say this? Basically, it is, my opinion is mine and the council is theirs, and I need to keep them separate and to myself until it is time to do so in an appropriate manner.
I believe it to mean that my opinion should be taken separate from the council and what the council has done if I believe that. And I need to make my opinion known as separate, if that's the case.
Well, basically, I agree with everything Angelina Sanchez has stated, and I have nothing further to offer.
I believe that when you are operating as a council person, that you would go with, you would, whatever the decision of the council was, would be your decision if you were speaking on behalf of a council person. If you were just speaking on your own opinion, then you can state, as Angelina said, freedom of speech. But even if you're outvoted on council, it's the council decision, majority vote.
Repeat the question, please.
I can do that. Council Rule number 19, which is entitled Ethics, states, and this is a quote, "All members of the council shall refrain from expressing an opinion contrary to the official position of the council without so saying." What do you interpret this rule to mean?
I interpret that to when the discussion time of the council, that's when you debate the issue and settle it then. But once the council has made a decision, that is it. The body language and negativity that goes with it when you don't get your way has no place in the council building.
I agree. As a council, you need to show a united front. Once a decision has been made, saying you might disagree with it, but you need to make it clear that it's not the opinion of the council, but maybe your personal opinion. Yeah.
I agree with the majority of what was said, particularly what Brandy said. We may have differing opinions of what is voted on, and we can state these opinions, but we have to be absolutely clear that this is our personal opinion, and I don't think we should state those officially either as a city representative. Can't do that. And what Ken was saying, the body language, all that stuff has to end as well. Thank you.
Okay, and I think we're about to Brandy here. The drawdown of Green Peter Dam is primarily beyond the control of city government. However, the adverse impacts it makes on the local economy is a concern. Are you in favor of expending significant city funds to challenge this practice and why?
After reading Chief Ogden's letter that he submitted, he did such an excellent job. It's really, I really think that our city has to fight this battle. It's vital. The water is vital to our life, and we have a really good, reasonable explanation behind it, and we have to fight it.
So if we had an unlimited amount of money, I would certainly want to take the next 10 to 20 years that it would take to process this in court. But we're David in a Goliath situation, so I'm just really concerned about who's going to pay for this. We're so strapped as a city right now. Where's the money going to come from? If we had it, I would definitely want to. I would want to take on the environmentalist as well, not just the Army Corps of Engineers, but somebody's got to pay for it.
Well, I would always be David on God's side because, yes, I would fight it every single time because I do believe that our water is very important, and if we got to take it up higher, I think we should. I think our town is worth fighting for.
Water is important for life, and so I think that we should fight as best as we can with what we have, but fight.
I also agree that we need to fight this, but strategically. It not only it is impeded our right to clean water, it has also wiped out our recreation. It's wiped out people coming to our town. We do need to fight. We need to fight it. We need to stand and fight for our rights on this.
I agree that we need to fight for our water here in Sweet Home. I agree with Brandy that Chief Ogden's letter was great, and I think pairing with the City of Lebanon so that we are a united front, so that it's more than just our town taking on that battle, I think there's power in numbers. And so I believe this is definitely a battle worth fighting, and I think that we need to continue on with the path that we're on so that we can get our water source back.
Continue the fight, do it as smart as possible, continue to ally with our neighbors Albany and Lebanon, and continue to search for outside financial help from like-minded sources throughout the country who would help us do the battle with this huge problem we have with our water system. Thank you.
I agree with Ken and Chelsea. We need to fight if we can get this stopped, we need to do that. Not just the economy, but the wildlife. So much stuff has been affected. And if we can't stop it, how much more money are we going to lose as a community if it continues year after year?
I agree. We should definitely fight. I've read many newspaper articles that range from $10 million to $45 million in economic damages between Sweet Home here and Lebanon, and that's just crazy. If we don't fight, what are we going to do? Just lose it all? To me, that's what it is. If we don't fight for this, then Sweet Home is nothing. We've already lost all of our fish. My friend and I went up the river just looking at things. We couldn't find even a mussel, any of our filter feeders. So this is definitely something we need to fight on. All the species have been destroyed and decimated because of this.
I also believe that we should fight because it's really hurting the economy, the environment, and tourists won't come here to fish because there is no fish because they're killing it by draining it down.
All right. So I believe everyone has had an opportunity to answer one question first, if I'm correct. Since we did have one last-minute candidate that could not appear, we have one more question. I can ask that, or if since we've got about 10 minutes extra, we're running ahead of time. One, because you guys are following Shakespeare's rule and being very witty and with brevity. We can probably take a couple of questions from the audience. The only problem will be with that is I'm just going to have to select one of you to start. And is that all right with the people on the? Is everybody all right with that? All right, I'm going to ask the other question that we have not had a chance to ask yet. And I'm going to pick on Ken to start with this, if that's okay.
Old guy, okay.
City committees, such as traffic safety, are set up to provide greater opportunities for public feedback before the City Council takes any action. If elected, how would you suggest greater public input before action is taken by the City Council?
We have a great example here of 47th Street on Long Street. Because there is a committee, there's a traffic safety committee that this goes before for the changes, and that committee brings it to the council, and the council makes a reading on that. But the message is not getting to the public. That's a really big deal, and that's not just one stop sign and one intersection. That's a whole traffic plan out there. And that's what we need to do, is look at it in the bigger picture and make sure we get the word out to the neighbors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think communication is key for the committees, getting the word out, having the public input to those committees, and then also having the council members who are on those committees, making sure that they're there. They should be the experts when the issues are brought back to council. They should be the ones speaking to those issues because they're part of that committee, and they should can give good advice.
I think the committee needs to have trust in the council has to have trust in the committees, because the committees are just us normal people, and we're volunteering our time, and we put in a lot of hard work. I serve on 2 of the committees. It always seems that we get a little public response for at least the committees that I'm on. So if we could have a better outreach and get some more interaction from the public at the committees, I think that would help get the message to the council better.
Thank you.
I think we should have better communication, have the community more involved in these decisions, because it does affect them. And I think just that they just need to be aware of what's going on.
Back in the old days, public notification was printed in the newspaper. We have a very good newspaper here in town. That would be a very easy and good resource to notify the public. Also, I really believe that if the city is going to make any major changes in a neighborhood, the landowners should be notified by mail. Anyone else that does any kind of changes to land has to notify. The city also should have to.
So I think community outreach and communication is something that we're severely lacking. I've advocated for newsletters being sent out in utility billing. I've advocated for direct mail being sent out to people on a quarterly basis. I've requested ads to be put in the newspaper. I have requested text messages to be sent as a campaign style type of community outreach. So I would love to have counselors that would like to spend a little bit of money to get more public involvement by a greater reach.
I feel that we could use our community boards more, because everybody looks at the community board, especially the big one by Les Schwab. We could post those up there when big changes are happening. We also have community boards inside the post offices. You could post them in there, and all the other ones. There's also Facebook and newspapers, and everybody is always on those. We can use all of those.
Could you read the question again, please?
Sure, if I can remember which one it was. City committees, such as traffic safety, are set up to provide greater opportunities for public feedback before the City Council takes action. If elected, how would you suggest greater public input before action is taken by the City Council?
I would expect the committees to send out personal letters to neighborhoods when they're going to put up stop signs, for one. I learned that because I live at 47th and Long, and it would have been nice if we had known somehow. So that would be the best thing, is more communication.
Communication is what this town is lacking. We have a lot of members that have come forward to say, I didn't even know that was going on. The response is usually, well, it was at the council meeting or there was a committee meeting on it. We're not getting the information out there to let the people know that they need to pay attention. So communication, communication, communication.
Notification to the citizens would be one of my main council goals if elected to council. As Angelita noted, I was at that council meeting when she talked about lots of different ways that we could increase notification to citizens. I feel like in today's day and age, probably almost everyone in the audience has a cell phone on them. I know that the school district has various different apps that they use when they need to notify citizens. I feel like you could sign up if you wanted to receive those notifications for specific areas of town, and council could really do a better job notifying the community.
All right. Thank you all. We're right back about where we're on our time schedule. So now I'm going to call a little bit of an audible here, and you guys can use it or not. We now want each candidate, and it'll start with Brandy, to kind of give their closing argument as to why you should vote for them. But we had originally scheduled that for 1 minute, and I'm just going to be magnanimous and give you a minute and a half. Don't use it all in one place. But if the timekeepers can reset for that, that would be great. So again, we'll start with you, Brandy, and why should these people vote for you?
If I'm elected to City Council, I will bring years of accounting, finance, and compliance knowledge. That is what I am good at. I research, I find the answer, I implement the answer, and I teach, in my case, other accountants so that they become better and stronger accountants, and it makes a better and stronger business for the companies that we work for. Personally, my agenda for City Council is really to try to get things finished up before we jump into things that may be new and exciting. We really need to get the big things done, get our water treatment plant finished. All these sort of things that are necessities to life, they just need to be done before we go on to sparkly, shiny, new fun things. And I can say after this, you guys have a hard decision because everyone up here really seems fantastic, and I think we'll do a really good job for the city. So everyone just needs to vote. Just vote. Vote for who you feel is best. Just vote.
Thank you.
Okay, so this time I did prepare something. I'm a little bit better when I have something written down. It's been a great evening tonight. It's been awesome to hear what everybody has to say, but now we have to take the time to find and decide what direction we want to take our community. I'll tell you a little bit about myself as a proven leader. In 4 short years, during multiple emergencies, so much has happened. I've pushed back on mask mandates and forced vaccinations for city employees. The city did not have an audit for 2 to 3 years when I was first elected, and now we are in compliance. My relationship with electeds and my quick thinking brought in millions of dollars to our community to cover us for those unfunded mandates. I've stood up to the Army Corps. I've demanded that they not remove our dams, keep our hydropower to ensure our energy bills stay low. below, my ideas have implemented ways to save time and money on public works contracts just by requiring site visits prior to bid. I've pushed for a traffic engineer and an updated transportation plan to prepare our table for our growing needs. I'm consistently pushing back on taxes, fees, and penalties while offering solutions and creative ideas that are innovative, some not even costing a dime. I'm deeply committed to continuing to do all that I can for Sweet Home, even if I'm not your counselor, but I am asking for your vote tonight, and I am asking for you to very deeply consider if we can elect 3 more people that can work with me. Thank you.
Well, if I'm elected, I will work very hard for you, and I will see what I can do for our water. Oh boy, now this is where I'm getting nervous. I had it down. Yes, our thank you. Our wastewater treatment. I do feel that it does need to be finished, and it's very important to us. I also want to work for our homeless shelters. I do think that we do need to expand that. I'm seeing more and more in the wintertime coming out, and it's very heartbreaking. I also want to see more for our children. Instead of them going to the skate park or any of that, I want them to be with their families hanging out in an arcade or bowling, something togetherness. We need families together, and we need to bring more businesses to our city so that we can have revenue here and we can expand. And if I'm elected, I am going to work very hard to get that done.
Tonight, I'd like to ask for your vote because I will fight for this town like nobody's business because of all the years that I've spent here, 35 of my 61 years. And there's so much that should be going on that isn't going on. And all we have to do is band together, work a little harder, and we can do great things here. And I would improve communication, number one, and like to spend some time myself, if elected, at the coffee shop and do what the mayor does, take an hour every week and just be there for the rest of the town to come in and chat with you. I think that's a great idea. And if elected, that would be something I would want to do.
If elected, I am promising to everybody, all community members that have reached out to me, to break up the supermajority that has dominated our council for far too long. We need a council that is nonpartisan, for the people and our community. We can't have our council hamstrung like they've been. Unless the supermajority likes what's happening, it goes through. If they don't like what's happening, you don't have a chance of getting anything passed or fixed. If you elect me, I intend to bust the supermajority apart.
Thank you again for spending an hour and a half or so this evening listening to all the candidates up here. I would really love to earn your vote. I am, again, a lifelong Sweet Home resident. I would definitely work to be fiscally responsible with your tax dollars, and I would listen to the citizens and be your voice on council. I would definitely be accountable to the citizens for council action. I would appreciate your vote, and thanks again for coming out. I'm Chelsea Augsburger, and it's been nice spending the evening with you all.
I'm Ken Bronson. Why vote for me? I'm a numbers guy. Right here I have this year's budget. Last year's budget, let's start with that. It was $37 million, big number. This year's budget, $97,654,400. A much bigger number. I get it. I understand these things. I've worked with them all my career. I know numbers. What? Someone's waving at me, so. Mike? Okay, here we go. Okay. Hey, I'm a team builder. I used to run a lumber mill for 15 years. Went 6 years without a lost time injury. Now that takes some real serious team building. I can do it. Common sense. COVID, transportation. Talk with the drivers over here. We found a system for a system to spray our buses to sanitize them each night. When I found that, within a month, I had this ordered. We had it installed within 6 weeks of that, and the whole operating running. We're the first operation in Oregon to do that. That year, I was also Transportation Manager of the Year. So I'm asking you to vote for me for council. Thank you very much, and bless this home, sweet home.
Again, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank you to the Sweet Home Community Foundation for putting this on. Thanks for everybody who's up here willing to give their time. If elected, I'll be a responsible and responsive council member. I'll always be putting the community needs at the forefront of any decisions that are made. I want to ensure that everyone in our community feels valued and represented. I'll show up and ready to work and get stuff done. So yeah, I humbly ask for your vote for City Council, and let's help move City Sweet Home in the right direction. Thanks.
All right. I wanted to say that my family first came to Sweet Home 4 years ago. We bought our first house, and we plunged our roots deep into the soil of Sweet Home with volunteering and community involvement. As I've stated, I serve on 2 of the committees already. I've already began working on my first goal of communication with throughout the city. I've sat down individually with Mayor Coleman, with Chief Ogden, with all the remaining councilors except one. Almost everybody on this panel I've sat down with, and I'm confident that we can get the agenda items accomplished that the people want. My name is Matthew Bechtel, and I would appreciate your support in this. Thank you.
If elected, I promise to work for you, the community of Sweet Home. My ears will be open for your concerns to bring to all council meetings. I'd like to also see a monthly newsletter like Brownsville does with all their people, so they can inform them of any new fees, new taxes, or what's going on in the community. I would also fight for every grant that's possibly out there to save tax dollars for the community. My name is David Lohman. I would love to have your vote, and I thank you all for coming out.
Well, I think all of the candidates here have thanked you for coming out. I'm just going to be repetitive. I do want to thank you for coming out to hear from these candidates. And no matter if you agree or disagree with their positions, I think they should be commended for stepping into the arena and being here tonight. Can we please get a round of applause for them all? And if I could have my two lovely assistants, I think we have a little gift backstage for each of the candidates that came out tonight. I'm going to invite you, the audience, to stay a few minutes to introduce yourself to the individual candidates. They're going to come out either into the lobby or into the auditorium here. And then, again, just because it's a shameless plug for the Community Foundation, if you haven't stopped by our table out there and get a little bit of information, we really do value this community and we want to continue helping it. Thank you again for coming. We wish you all a good night. Thank you. And somewhere you're going to get something here in a minute. I can't take that.